Hey, PC World fans, Adam here with Elena.
Hi, everybody.
And we have a very exciting PC build coming up this Wednesday on November 4th around 11 a.m. Pacific time. Elena, what are you going to be building this Wednesday?
Well, next generation consoles are just around the corner, so I thought I would do PC build that tries to match them for output.
Nice. So you're not going to try to compare them price-wise?
No, I think it's pretty much a given that it's not going to be possible to meet these consoles, on price. So I think it's more interesting to actually see what it takes and how much it actually costs on the PC side of things to get a, roughly equivalent experience.
Okay. And are you going to be targeting the higher end, the Xbox Series X and the PS5, or are you going to be targeting the Xbox One or Xbox Series S this time?
So I will be hitting all of them at some point, but so what we're doing here is that because things are a little up in the air with PC hardware right now in terms of launches, I am making this into kind of a rolling project. So I'm getting started a little early, and for what I'm calling my discovery phase, I'm starting with a build to kind of roughly block out what I want to put into something for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X PC builds.
Okay, cool. It's a discovery phase. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Then let's dig right into parts. Elena, what are you going to be putting CPU-wise in this build?
All right, so we know that the next generation consoles are going to be using Zen 2 processors or equivalent. So 8 cores, 16 threads, easy pick for that, 3700X.
Oh, okay. And why not go with the new Ryzen 5000 series?
Again, if we're trying to get as close as possible to the consoles in terms of matching, like maybe not precisely on specs, but matching what we would expect for its output, I think it gooses it a little bit if you then change it to a Zen 3 part as opposed to a Zen 2 part. If I have time, I would eventually like to use or make a build that uses Zen 3 to see, how much extra performance you get out of that, everything that AMD talked about in their presentation with regards to, putting all three, parts of the trifecta together. So you have a motherboard, a Ryzen 5000 part, a Radeon 6000 part, and you get a little boost in performance. I would love to see how that does, because again, this is PC, it's open. You can, get as much performance as you want if you have the money for it. But for this particular build, because we're trying to keep it tighter and more, equivalent or close to being equivalent to the consoles, I'm sticking with Zen 2.
Okay, all right, sounds good. And what motherboard are you going to be slotting that CPU into?
So, for the builds that I'm doing for the videos, because I also will be doing, a written article for PC World, which is, also part of my job. But for the video, I decided to go beyond just going for the parts. I'm also going as much as possible for size. So that means I need a mini ITX board. And then for PCIe 4 support, I need a X5. I don't need it, but I got an X570 board because in theory, the next generation consoles allows you to put 2 drives at those speeds, and B550 only really supports 1 PCIe 4 SSD. So it is the more expensive motherboard option across the board.
Okay, all right. What do you want to hit next? Do you want to hit power supply?
Power supply is pretty straightforward. For the moment, I'm going with the 650 watt small form factor power supply. Again, that's mostly because of the size of the case. I'm just spoiler alert, I guess, but I'm going to be using a Cooler Master NR200, which only accepts small form factor power supplies. And then 650 watts is what I anticipate roughly where will leave me a comfortable amount of room, even with whatever GPU I put in there. But, again, this is a discovery phase. I might find out later on that I need to bump up what GPU I put in there, and then I might need a bigger power supply, a higher wattage power supply.
Okay, well then, speaking of GPU, what GPU are you putting in there right now?
So for this initial phase, I'm going to be trying out a 2080 Ti. Would love to try.
Who would use that at this time? I
mean, people who can't get their hands on the 3070, and I'm sure there are a lot of people watching this who understand what I mean when I say that.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Also, there might be some other advantages to using a 2080 Ti over 3070, right?
A little bit. I mean, it has the more, RAM on it, so that will help more with 4K, playing at 4K, whereas 3070 only has, if I remember right, 8 gigabytes VRAM. So, those 3 extra gigs may make a difference. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Okay. And then you also mentioned the case. I know that NR200 that you've been
So
kind of excited to build in that.
I really have been.
Tell me a little bit why you're excited about that one.
So this case is actually quite affordable for a mini ITX case. I guess the official MSRP was $80. It's commonly available on the street for $90, either due to demand or tariffs or both. But even still, that's fairly affordable, quite affordable for a mini ITX case, which tend to run pretty expensive. And it's clean. It accommodates up to triple slot GPUs. And it's small and compact relative to a mid tower. So it'll give me enough room, enough comfortable room to build this console PC, so to speak. But I don't have to worry about, really thinking through the layout if I were to get super small. And also it keeps the cost from getting too high. Because, the case I really wanted, I think is $200. So a little extraneous.
Yeah. Are you worried about temperatures in this?
No, we don't review cases here at PC World. We do teardowns. So I do watch a lot of other content and reviews on these kind of cases, and NR200 is generally favored across the board.
Okay. Speaking of cooling, are you going to put an air cooler or a liquid cooler on the CPU?
So for space constraints, I decided to go with a all-in-one liquid cooler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, and I see it right next to you, the Cooler Master.
Oh, do I have it next to me? I do. Yeah.
Nice. A little RGB on it as well.
I didn't necessarily plan to do RGB, but at the same time, I am thinking about little pieces of flair that I could put in the case, or in the build rather. I have a little small surprise for everybody during the build that I'll show. It's very small. Don't get your hopes way too high.
Oh, okay.
But I like it.
Do you have any other case fans you're going to be throwing in that?
Yeah, so I picked up a couple of case fans to just, make sure it is well ventilated in there. I don't build mini ITX very often, so I just want to make sure that I don't have to worry about temps.
Okay, got it. Then a couple more things. RAM.
RAM is pretty standard. I'm sticking with 16 gigabytes of DDR4 3600 megahertz RAM. As most people know, that's the generally accepted speed that pairs well with Ryzen 3000. I'm going to do 16 gigs because that's what's in the consoles, sort of. This is where it gets a little weird, right? Because those consoles use that RAM, or that memory rather, the GDDR6 memory, for both the, standard user interface application type stuff as well as the gaming, whereas on a PC you're going to have the graphics card with dedicated video memory, and then you have just RAM for your general process or general tasks. And so being someone who uses a lot of browser tabs, and the fact that it is a PC, I really want to put 32 gigs of RAM in this thing, but this is where I'm drawing the line. I'm saying, like I said at the beginning of the video, that I'm trying to keep it relatively close spec for spec, and also even though I'm more going for output, so I'm going to bring that in. But I will say numerous times during this whole project, hey, you might want to safeguard yourself. If you do something like this, get 32 gigs.
Yeah. No, it'd probably be better. And talking about other limitations versus the console, what about drives? Obviously, that's one of the big touted feature in the new consoles is the faster throughput on their hard drive solutions.
Yeah, so for this build, I did get a PCIe 4, or rather, I guess, Gen 4 NVMe SSD. And even though we say quite often on the Full Nerd that you don't need that for gaming right now, I figure, again, if I'm trying to kind of roughly match the consoles, this is something that I would put in there.
Okay.
And then whenever direct storage becomes available, then, this PC build would be ready to go.
And how big is that Gen 4 device?
For the Xbox Series X and for the PlayStation 5 PC build, it'll be a 1 terabyte drive.
1 terabyte. Okay. And
Yeah.
then do you plan on putting any expansion in there as well?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, for the motherboard, I chose X570 chipset because I wanted the option to install a second PCIe 4 SSD, and have proper support for that. But I think for the short term, I will use just a SATA SSD and take advantage of how cheap that is. And again, it's PC, so you're not really going to have an issue, a true compatibility issue like you will on the next generation consoles, which have actual limitations where they say you have to use a drive that's compatible. For PC, you can still run your games off of that SATA SSD for the short term. So hey, why not?
Yeah,
Way
go for
cheaper.
it. Okay, cool. Is there any other parts that's escaping my mind?
Let me check my list real quick. I think we covered it all.
Okay, nice. Well then, once again, just to recap, we're doing this for fun, right, Elena? We're not trying
Absolutely
to
for
really
fun.
put down the those
No.
console people, right?
Well, I mean, there are the members of our staff who might, and if you follow us on the Full Nerd, you would know who I'm talking about. But I am a firm believer in coexisting. I play on all platforms, so for me, this is very much like the project I did 3 years ago with the Xbox One X PC build, where it's just for fun. It's just really to see what can I do for this price? What can I do to match these specs? How close to the PC side of things are these consoles when they hit the market? It's all good fun. Just as I said, discovery, exploration, stars and beyond.
So then the next step after the build is done on Wednesday is to continue to look at the parts that are coming out, refine your approach. Will
Yep.
you be doing any benchmarking on the initial Discovery PC?
I think I'd like to do an initial round of them because for me right now, because I'm not in video games journalism and I don't really have a lot of access to the early access games and et cetera, my biggest question is trying to figure out which games are going to perform at 4K 120, which games are 4K 60, and so on and so forth, because that'll help me figure out better what kind of performance I'm targeting. And so if I can kind of lay down an initial round of benchmarks on the PC side, that'll kind of help me calibrate.
Okay. All right. Last question I have, because that this is a liquid all-in-one cooler, you're not going to be able to spin a beer can on the CPU like a tradition. What are you going to do for this one?
That's not my tradition. especially not in a system that ranges from $1,500 to $1,800, maybe $1,900 if I really start getting fancy with RGB parts. So.
Okay, cool. Then I'm excited. I'm going to be remote producing. Elena's going to be there in the studio. It's going to be a great time, like always. So I'm excited to have people show up and see how this build comes together. And I'm sure you're excited as well to get it all together and get going. We've been working on this idea for a while, so
yeah.
It's good to see have it come together.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to people coming to hang out and just we always do really chill, laid back builds. So come and hang out.
Awesome. Yeah, I will have a actual posting for the build itself. It'll be in the description. It'll be in the video. So look for that. And until then, get ready to rest your fingers to get your typing away and wonder why Elena didn't put in this or that. Just kidding. No, don't do that.
I'm ready
Come
for
out
it.
and have some fun.
I'm not ready for it.
All right, cool. Then thank you, Elena, and I'm excited for this Wednesday. We'll see you there.
Bye, everyone. See you soon.